Life is funny. I was just writing a script about how the re-editing of the opening of The Rise of Skywalker led to a messy experience, not only watching the movie itself, but with listening to the soundtrack on its own. It's McCunky. And then I saw that the expanded opening from the upcoming The Rise of Skywalker novel was released with a sneak preview. It has everything the introduction of this movie desperately needed. And even stranger is the fact that this all was actually filmed, so technically it's not exactly an expansion from the original shooting script. And if you want proof, you can find a lot of these quotes within the visual dictionary itself, and we're going to see a lot of these images from the art of The Rise of Skywalker. I firmly believe that the truncated intro to The Rise of Skywalker did a great disservice to viewers by not allowing us to firmly grasp what was going on before our eyes, and why we should even care about what's going on. Of course, I think the montage itself looks nice and epic and flows well with the music cues that are used, but it's like a music video. There's no real context. And, you know, it's all Star Wars-y imagery, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'd probably watch 5 hours of Kylo Ren dominating people, just like this. But still, it's not exactly a scene as much as a collection of images that end up being just 1 minute long. Yes, the Mustafar sequence in The Rise of Skywalker in the beginning to set up everything is only 1 minute. The film and the purchasable soundtrack don't reflect one another that well in regards to the movie's introduction, as I said earlier. And for Star Wars, that's very, very strange. Normally, you would be able to close your eyes and see the scenes unfold in your mind's eye. But with The Rise of Skywalker, that is not the case because of how much reconfiguration this intro went through, music cues and all. Parts of the title track occur in the second setting of the film in Exegol, while parts of the second track of the score occur immediately when we first see Kylo Ren in battle on Mustafar. For somebody like me that notices all this stuff, it's weird. Today's sneak peek at the entire battle on Mustafar as Kylo searched for Vader's Wayfinder also included who we thought was called the Oracle. And in case you forgot what that looked like, here it is. It's freaky. It's 80s horror fuel. So what's left on the cutting room floor, according to this excerpt from the book? Well, it had a true opening where we see General Pryde and Hux gazing on at their supreme leader in the heat of battle against the native Mustafarians, or the Vader loyalists, whatever you want to call them. We find out that Pryde sort of admires Kylo Ren as he watches him gracefully make his way through the battlefield. And remember, Pryde served the old Empire. He knows who Vader is, and for him, this is probably comforting to see. A true enforcer, much like Vader. Something reminiscent of the old days. We also come to find out that the journey Supreme Leader Kylo is on has delayed the First Order's plans as well. I imagine those are more of Hux's plans than Kylo Ren's plans, but this for me is a huge piece of context I think would have been great to have on screen. The tension between Hux and Kylo Ren was non-existent beyond some mere exposition that maybe happened twice during The Rise of Skywalker. Hux thought that he was heir to the First Order. Instead, he became Kylo and Pryde's bitch. The Last Jedi ends with an ominous stare from Hux just looking at Kylo Ren as he goes into the quarters where the Resistance once was. And his role's reduction in The Rise of Skywalker just really felt random to me, but I did like that he was the spy. We find out that once Kylo Ren killed every single native that was protecting Vader's grounds, Kylo could feel a presence in the Force. He could sense her. And no, it's not Rey. Much like what we saw as Kylo journeyed towards the dead Emperor, Kylo walked across the forest of Corvax Fen, this is part of Mustafar, with his lightsaber ignited, until he comes to a lake where the Eye of WEBBISH BOG, this giant, living in symbiosis with an alien on its head, speaks to Kylo Ren. It's the guardian of the Wayfinder. This is pure high fantasy stuff. I once posted on Twitter to go weird or go home when it comes to Star Wars, and goddamn, JJ was going to go so freaking weird that I can't stand it. If Irvin Kershner was here, in the editing room, as this was being put together, he'd have told JJ, no, that's staying in. That's iconic looking, and it will terrify the kids. Keep it in. And it's also really fascinating to introduce an alien of this kind who absolutely is strong in the Force. The Eye is not susceptible to the influence of mind tricks. On the contrary, it straight up tells Kylo Ren what is up in regards to going down the path that he is on. If he continues, Kylo Ren will encounter his true self. And for me, had that been in the intro of this movie, it would have given so much more weight to an already incredible scene where Kylo Ren decides to become Ben Solo again. JJ, come on. Now, after the Eye of WEBBISH Webbish Bog shows Kylo where the Wayfinder is, he also lets Kylo know that it will help guide him through the treacherous unknown regions of the galaxy. It will lead Kylo Ren to Exegol, to Palpatine. Kylo Ren has memorized the transmission that Palpatine sent out to the galaxy, which we literally only heard in Fortnite. But because of that message, seeds of doubt began forming in the First Order. Ren's First Order. And this is why he is on this quest to find the Phantom Emperor, as stated in the crawl. In Kylo Ren's mind, he has sacrificed way too much to let it all slip back into the hands of some ancient Sith or some imposter claiming to be some dead emperor. Who would dare challenge Kylo Ren's rule after he defeated Snoke? And after this, the journey to Exegol ensues. Now, all we see in the film itself is Kylo Ren in a mosh pit. Then he turns around, and then he runs through the forest, he stabs a guy, and then he pulls a dude with the Force, then he cuts off his arm, and then he breathes heavy for a few seconds, and then he turns his head around to show his cool hair, and then boom, he finds the Wayfinder, stares at it, and then he's off. That conveys nothing beyond he found some people on a reddish planet to find something that looks like a holocron. And yeah, it was fun. But we never really find out that Kylo Ren has been on some kind of relic hunt, and you'd have to read ancillary material to know that anyways. We never establish Pryde or Hux in any meaningful way regarding their relationship to Kylo Ren. And without the meeting between Kylo Ren and the Eye of the Webbish Bog, we never find out that those natives and Bog himself were in place by Vader in order to protect this ancient relic of the Sith. JJ literally did away with context for time. And I dislike that kind of approach to storytelling. It makes no sense to me, especially knowing that all of this was filmed. I don't believe in the sentiment that this would have been too much for the audience or it would have been too confusing, because if that's the case, then I highly doubt that this would have remained in an expanded novelization. Wouldn't it be just as confusing in the novel? At the end of the day, it's all an editing crime. That's what it is. And it really mucked up the experience of listening to the movie's soundtrack too, which is really frustrating. Nothing matches up for the first 25 minutes of the movie if you really listen to the score and then you watch the movie. It's completely disconnected. So, sorry if this kind of came off like a rant, but this excerpt has really got me pumped up to read the novelization because I just want to see JJ's full story, his unadulterated version of the Rise of Skywalker, and if it happens to only be in book form, then so be it. I am super pumped now to read this book. So I'm really curious as to what you all think about this excerpt out of the novelization. Do you think that this context was needed in the final film? I know I feel that way, but again, my feelings are my own, and if you disagree, that is also totally fine. But let's talk about it down in the comments. And please, for the love of all that is good and sacred, be nice to each other. May the Force be with you. AT-AT is signing off.